everybody. This is Danny Class. One of the wonderful things about learning this instrument is that once we discover alternate tunings and drop tunings, we're able to find infinite guitars within the guitar because we have new relationships between the strings, between fingerings, and it can open up new possibilities for exploring different sounds. And the concept of alternate tunings is something that fingerstyle guitarists use a lot because it allows the instrument to sound maybe more open and more lush. There is, however, I think a little bit of a downside in that it can maybe open up too many possibilities for sort of finding your own authentic sound. It takes a lot more learning because you have to shift your thinking multiple times because you have new ways of fingering the strings. And it's certainly something to explore, but what I wanted to do today was to take that idea and peel it back a little bit and just explore the idea of a drop tuning that is one that you might not have heard about, which is not drop D, but a drop E flat tuning. And so the idea here is that we are going to take our low E, the sixth string, and instead of an E, we'll tune it down a half step, and now it is an E flat. And you might say, okay, well, what's so great about just doing that one little thing? But what is so great about it is that you are now kind of steered into a key that you might not have heard about or played much, which is the key of E flat or or D sharp, but we'll call it E flat. And in this key now, with this open E, you also have two other open notes that are quite pretty and elegant within the key. The first is this D here, which is a major seventh off that E flat. And on top of that, the open G is a major third. And played with the open E flat, it sounds quite nice. And so what I wanted to do today was show you the there's so many, some of the fingering patterns you can use with this open E flat to really generate some different sounds that you might not have heard about before. This can work, by the way, with any style. It doesn't have to be a finger style acoustic approach. It can work with electric, distorted or not, or with a flat pick, etc. Okay, so again, the first thing you want to do is simply tune down your low E to an E flat. And then, so in terms of the keys, I'll keep it relatively simple and just say, okay, let's just keep it to the key of E flat, which we don't have to do, but we will. And so there are multiple fingerings that can help us to kind of explore. And the first one that we're going to look at is an E flat major scale, which I am going to play here, starting on the fifth string at the sixth fret. I just kind of extend it up here on the first string. Okay, but if we play that with the open E in the background, and also, remember, you can always have an open D and an open G. So now you get some interesting arpeggios that can kind of come out of this. That E flat is such a strong note here, right? Keeps the drone going. Okay, so that's one approach. One fingering that you can use. There's others for sure, but this is, I think, a good one. Okay, so the next scale that I think would work well with this E flat is a C minor pentatonic. So I'll start it here on the fifth string. I'm not using the sixth string because that would require us to kind of shift everything, because remember, that's no longer an E. So we'll just, for now, kind of leave that one out of the equation, though if you want to just kind of try a random fingering every now and then, once you've learned this and see how it sounds, that's going to be a real good way to approach this. Let your ear be the guide. So the C pentatonic minor pentatonic, this fingering that some of you probably know already. But if we play it with that E flat in the background, it gets quite interesting, doesn't it? And throw in that open G. It's a really strong note. And then, of course, you can always blend the scales. They're right next, these fingerings are right next to each other. You can slide between them. Always remembering again that the open D and the open G are useful. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to show you are just some kind of quick chord forms that will work well with this key. The first one is going to be a E flat major 7. It doesn't have the 5th in it, but it's still a major 7. Sorry, mistake. Don't play that high E. It'll take it out of kind of at least the sounds we're doing now. In fact, if I do it again, yeah, you can really see how that's kind of the wrong note for what we're doing here. Okay, E flat major 7. There's another E flat major 7, which is simply the open E flat, the open D, and the open G. I like to play them as harmonics. You know, you can do both, and that's quite lovely, especially with a little vibrato. Okay, and the other one I'd like to show you is an A flat major 7, which is right here. And I'm gonna, for this one, leave that low E flat out of the equation just to kind of mix it up, because if we play this one, the A flat major 7 back to that E flat major 7 here, back to maybe that E flat major scale, and on that harmonic E flat major 7 chord. I mean, there are really other possibilities here, but the idea again is just to kind of use that open E flat, an occasional open G and D, and these new fingerings, and you're able to get some sounds that I think will you know, be very interesting for a lot of you, because you might not have learned this key. The key doesn't really get taught much. I mean, we get taught, you know, C, G, and D, but this key has some flats in it. The E flat, it has, you know, the A flat, and it has a B flat in it. And I don't know, maybe when it comes to traditional guitar learning, unless you get into jazz or classical, it gets kind of ignored. So this is a good way to kind of approach that, and you'll get some new sounds that could be useful. There are certainly other chords that will work. The whole system of diatonic harmony will work. So if you know that, you can start from E flats, and then, you know, you go up to F minor, G minor, right? See if I remember them. B flat, major, sorry, A flat major, B flat major, etc., to the minor. That C minor is it's the relative minor. So if you're not sure where to kind of take it just a little step further, and you don't want to necessarily learn all those chords, I would say go to C minor, and that will be that's the relative minor, and that will go really nice with this whole idea. So hopefully you found this useful as a way to expand your guitar playing. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Stay well. Goodbye.